Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the OJ podcast. I just jump scared Jamie. Who's over there? Say hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Yes. And today we are finally talking about F1 once again, and
Woo!
it's the Miami Grand Prix. Wow! Very exciting stuff, even though we're now going into another 3-week
3-week
break.
break!
Woo!
Yay!
So we're back to your regularly scheduled programming for a week, and then we're going on another 3-week hiatus, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll
But
go
hey.
into our other things again.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, this race weekend, I actually, most of the stuff this race weekend, I was watching outside because I was watching baseball games.
I watched everything very delayed.
Yeah.
Extremely delayed.
Yeah, but
Because I'd be busy.
getting into everything, I think I'm gonna start in our podcast not really talking about the practices unless there's something important. Really, all practice was talking about all the upgrades.
I don't really see much of the point, but I guess you could give a headline of what teams brought
Yeah,
upgrades, which I think was
but
everyone but Haas.
upgrades, people, upgrades. So Ferrari and McLaren had 10 plus components. I think one was 12 and one was 14. I don't remember. Aston Martin had none, which
No,
is
I think
weird.
they updated their
No,
suit. I think they said their
that
suit was
doesn't
better designed
that
to
doesn't
take the
count as an upgrade.
vibrations.
That
I think
doesn't
they
count
upgraded
as a
something.
it doesn't count as a car upgrade. So they had
I just
none.
found that really funny if that's the only thing they brought.
Yeah, yeah. Mercedes had two, and everyone else had a whole bunch. Mercedes had some of the least, but that's because they're the top team, so they're not allowed to upgrade as much as the other teams are because they are the point that everyone's trying to get to. Um, yeah,
Side
I
note, I need to switch around my fantasy team again after this weekend.
I I will talk about this later in the fantasy. You made some weird decisions this weekend, and me and
I
Ella
regret
were
them.
wholly judging you
I regret them.
hard.
And that's okay. I'm
Um,
changing it up again.
I think Ferrari was using the Macarena wing even in the races.
They were
Red
using the
Bull,
Macarena wing. I was very excited about it.
yes. Red Bull developed their own Macarena wing also, but they did not use it during the races. They just practiced with it. Obviously, that's what you tend to do with those bigger upgrades. Um,
Everyone should use Macarena wings. They bring me joy.
it supposedly gives you a better speed boost, so we'll see what the other teams do. I especially would look at McLaren. I don't know so much as Mercedes would do it, but like McLaren is a hard McLaren loves their upgrades. Like they love them, so I would look out for them. Otherwise, Friday also was sprint quali because this was a sprint weekend.
I enjoy
Um,
sprints.
I
Unpopular opinion, but I enjoy them.
I will say I thought Miami was gonna be boring, and then it wasn't. And I thought it was gonna be
The
boring
sprint was
because
kind
of
of
the
boring.
sprint. Yeah. And I thought it was gonna continue that way, and then things happen. But during sprint quali, not much really happens for sprint. Not quali has honestly been boring lately, in my opinion. I used to really like watching quali, but lately it's just like,
I'll be real with you. I did not have time to watch the qualifying session, so I'm going
yeah,
off what YouTube told me was interesting.
yeah.
It did not look that interesting to me.
No. And
No.
so SQ1, Lance goes wide and has car problems, so he never gets like a lap in. There was a lots of fast lap bailings because of that. Mainly the focus was on the McLarens and the Mercedes Ferraris was able to get through, but nothing really happens. It goes Stroll, Alonso, Bottas, Perez, Ocon, Lawson, as expected, really. Ocon and Lawson can obviously be up higher, be lower. It depends
Mhm.
on the track. And then SQ2, nothing happens. So then it's Lindblad, Sainz, Albon, Behrman, Hulkenberg, and Bortoletto.
I did not expect both Williams to make it through.
I didn't either. I didn't make
Uh,
that prediction
I
right.
saw that and I was like, I I really thought for sure one of them was going out first. But that means their upgrade package is probably improved the car a bit.
When we get into like predictions and fantasy, I'll
my God,
talk
it's
more
so bad,
about it.
Jamie. It's so bad.
But I actually didn't do too bad this weekend, but I used one of the thingies, and I think I was pretty smart for using
I think you were right on track. I think I used the wrong
Mhm.
one because I was like, I
Yeah.
want to use one this weekend because it's a sprint, so you can like increase your points pretty
Yeah.
well. And I'm saving.
You just used it on the wrong person.
Well, I don't think George getting the ×3 was bad, and Pierre is technically the second fastest of that group.
Yeah. Well,
Other
I
than
think
maybe
it was
Ollie, but I didn't expect Ollie to survive the race. So I was like,
that's the thing. A lot of
Yeah.
my stuff was based off of it was supposed to rain.
yeah,
and then it
exactly.
didn't.
And I was like, I have a lot of trust in Pierre in the rain, so I was like,
Yeah.
×2. I in my brain it made sense, and I think on paper it also made sense.
I
It's
think it
just
was
in
more of
practice it did not work.
yes, use ×3 on George, but wrong track to use it for.
Yeah, the thing is I really didn't want to use no negative on this track because I want to save that for either Brazil or Silverstone.
I think Miami's as I used it. I think Miami's another good one because I feel like things always happen in Miami.
Yeah, I try to save it for races with rain.
Yeah.
Because I feel so it was like Miami could rain, so I was considering it.
It was supposed to thunderstorm and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, I at least a lot of people crashed, so you probably still got a good bang for
Yeah.
your buck.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of bang for my buck
Yeah.
still. But anyways,
yeah, the fantasy. We'll talk about fantasy. We have its own subject for, but this league is like a big deal for us.
Well, fun fact: Kylie might join.
No, she should. That'd be so fun.
She didn't. I sent her everything yesterday, and she didn't join. So I might poke her again today.
I would love for her to join. That'd be great.
I told her that Malik
people to
joined
try.
late too, so she won't be too far behind. Like she's not gonna win.
One race late.
Yeah, but like she's
also
not gonna
always
win.
count from Kylie. Like
True.
have the main one and then have the from Kylie one.
But also I'm winning, so I don't know if I want that.
That's true. I would still like her to join though, because at least like we still go week by week.
Yeah.
Plus,
but
Malik
anyways,
only got 10 points this week, so I mean she's got a shot.
I don't know. He's gonna go lower because Charles's penalty hasn't been updated. He might be in the negatives. Anyways, SQ3, we get the top 10 as Gasly, Hajar, Colapinto, Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Piastri, Antonelli, Norris. This is actually very similar. I just realized how similar that is to normal quali. But I think the major thing this weekend is the commentators especially are considering Alpine number 5 in the teams. Like they're like, oh yeah, the top 5 teams kept getting through into SQ or SQ3 or Q3, and which they are, I think, still no. Haas fell. They are the 5th team. Never mind. Haas didn't get any
so they
points.
might be the top, like the 5th place team. But it's like I can't give Alpine that credit.
I know. I hate it with a passion, but Haas is so temperamental that I don't think you can consider them fifth.
I think Haas on certain tracks because Haas didn't upgrade anything, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I think if they bring an upgrade package or based on the track, I think they'll do. It'll be Haas and Alpine most likely, unless Williams can pull everything together for that 5th place spot. Because I have faith in Williams because they've already made a ton. I actually think Audi is super unreliable at the moment.
So unreliable.
I don't trust it.
They've only ever completed one race, and that was Japan. That's the only one where both cars completed the entire race.
So for me, it's like I think Audi probably does have the better car, but in terms of like speed and just pace.
Yeah.
But in terms of staying on the track,
it's non-existent.
So for me, it's like I think it'll be either Haas or Alpine taking that 5th spot. The announcers seem to think it's Alpine. Yeah. But it's just like I guess Franco has been looking a lot better this year.
Franco was loaded this weekend.
He did great.
I was very proud of him.
Securing his place on the grid.
Yeah, I was so happy for him. Fun fact, guys, kind of like fully realized who his girlfriend is, and she's a Broadway star and has played on like one of both of our favorite musicals. So
Hadestown.
I went.
Watch Hadestown. There's a movie this summer. Go to theaters, support it. Show love to Hadestown. I'm actually a little nervous because I've seen the show twice, and more people getting tickets to Hadestown means less times I get to see Hadestown, so it'll be more expensive.
Yeah.
But also, I need this musical to stay open, so go watch it.
But yeah, so she played Eurydice for I think like 6 months. She was on there for quite a long time. And
did she play the Broadway cast, or
yeah.
was she on touring or West End?
No, she was Broadway. Broadway
What's
for
her
like
name
6 months. Maya Rafico?
Did I see her?
I don't know. But yeah, I found out how cool she is. She's also in like the new reboot of Pretty Little Liars and has this another like American movie coming out soon. I don't remember the name of it. It's another romance movie. But I was like, "Oh, she's cool as hell." Franco, yeah, you're moving up on my rankings, especially cuz she's queer. Love her. I am a new fan of hers. I will admit.
I think I might have maybe
seen
not.
her. She was like
because she was with Jordan
24?
Fisher, and I believe I saw Jordan Fisher.
Oh, yeah, but Jordan Fisher was there for a while. There was like 3
know.
Eurydices with him though.
But I can't say for sure if I saw Jordan Fisher or not. I have the playbill in my room somewhere, but this is not worth looking up at the moment.
This will be an after the podcast we figure out. But yeah, on to the sprint race. We start off immediately with Nico's car smoking on the way to the track and not starting. So he got another DNS on his record this season, which I do feel is a little bit of my fault because on TikTok, if you see my predictions for the race, it wasn't for the sprint, for the race, I said he would DNS.
You didn't finish the race either, so you weren't.
I wasn't too far off. And then Arvid started from the pit lane, and so that's kind of all the before stuff. And even Ella has no faith in Kimmy's starts, and this weekend continued to.
They are so terrible. And I get they don't have as good of a starting procedure as Ferrari and McLaren, and honestly Haas. I think those are probably the top 3 teams that can get off the line.
Yeah. But which is like comes to say, I think that's definitely the next like upgrade or whatever. That's Mercedes what Mercedes
needs to work on, because that Ferrari engine, they've clearly figured something out to get them a good boost forward off the line, and it's because they were the only ones to clock that it could be an issue earlier.
Like, they just keep continuously failing to McLaren and Ferrari, which just is like
I wouldn't say continuously failing to McLaren, because McLaren didn't start a couple races.
Okay.
Ferrari.
Okay, but the not starting, if they don't even start it, that doesn't count.
They didn't beat them off the start procedure if they didn't start now, did they?
Yeah, but you're comparing. You need both cars there to compare. That's not how the story is.
I can't let Jami get away with her McLaren supremacy like mindset. Did you just roll your eyes at Ella? Ella agrees with me.
No, she's not here.
She would agree with me.
All I'm saying is Mercedes is in this too. But out of the teams, there has been reports the best teams to work for are McLaren, Mercedes, and Racing Bulls, I guess. They're the ones
they seem to have a much more positive environment than Red Bull. I'm not shocked.
They've had the positive, those 3 are like the most positive work environment. So McLaren just being my favorite team means I just want to work for them even more too, because they have a positive work environment. So, but I said to Ella, because the new tradition for Mercedes is Kimmy like pieing someone when it's their birthday, and I told Ella, I was like, if I ever work for Mercedes, remind me not to tell them when my birthday is, because my birthday's usually on a race weekend, and so I don't want that.
When's Ella's birthday?
The 22nd.
I'm not gonna say this because if she finds out, I'll get cursed.
But anyways, back to Kimmy's start failed. Lando, Oscar, and Charles power to the front, and then
Charles
George
complains about Kimmy's start.
Yes. Not his start. No. So George charges to get in front of Kimmy, but eventually loses it. Kimmy comes back to fourth. Pierre
Something was up with George's car this weekend, by the way.
It's a mixture of his car. He clearly says he hates the track and just isn't good with it.
He despises Miami, so that's part of it. But like, there's something
his car did feel off
because he should not be 30 seconds behind Kimmy.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Even if, like, they're not that different of drivers. Like,
yeah,
they're not. So something's up with the car.
I don't know. Something was up with George this weekend. That is
I would
very
argue George is
truthful.
a better driver. So
we're not getting into this.
Okay, in the future, will Kimmy probably be a better driver? Yes, but I think right now George is. And I think it's very similar to the Lando Oscar thing of last year, which I told Jamie I would bring up even though it infuriates her. But I think Kimmy will have a really great start to the season. And then as it progresses, the person who can handle more pressure, has been there longer, just has a better feeling of the stakes, will win. And Jamie's bitter, and I can see it on her face, but I think it would be unfair not to bring up the comparison.
I just don't want to go through that trauma again.
Good thing you don't have as much stake in Kimmy and George.
But I do, because if it's one of them, I'm gonna choose Kimmy.
I'm the unpopular opinion in this group. Jamie and I have realized, Jamie's realized she's surrounded by McLaren fans. Or not McLaren, Mercedes fans. And I've realized I'm surrounded by Kimmy fans.
Yeah. It's literally, okay. Kylie doesn't watch these, so we're fine. Ella definitely thinks Kylie's on the bandwagon with Kimmy.
Sure.
But also, she only watched the sprint race, and I think she needs more time for the driver to choose.
The thing is it takes more than one race to get chosen. Yeah. Because all it takes is one moment. And I think that's what happened for Ella. It's what happened for me. It's what happened for you. Yeah. To go, no, I like this one.
Yeah. And I
have a feeling she's going to pick Franco. That feels the most up Kylie's alley.
I kind of could see that. Or Ollie, honestly.
I see Franco more than I see Ollie, but I don't think Ollie's a bad shout.
Or
it's gonna be someone like Lance Stroll that picks her, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god."
I honestly don't think she's gonna pick a rookie, like a younger driver. But I don't think
so.
I think
she's gonna pick Franco though.
Yeah. I do think it has to be one of the 2025 rookies. I don't think she's gonna pick like even Oscar or above. Like,
I don't think she's not Oscar.
Oscar isn't her. Like, Oscar would never fit her. Like,
no.
Dead.
She might like Lando. No. I wouldn't be shocked if she liked
Potential Lando. True. I can see Lando.
I know Annika picked Esteban, but she doesn't watch. She actually picked the Aston Martin safety car drivers.
Yeah, but
they're gone. So she's lost all breeding stake in the sport.
Yeah.
Kai is Max, but likes Kimmy a lot as well.
Don't worry, I asked Kai over the weekend to double check.
You like Oscar. I like George. Ella likes Kimmy.
Yeah.
We're a pretty diverse group overall in terms of
Ella likes Kimmy, Franco, and Ollie. They're considered her
really
Shaylas.
Like Ollie.
I know.
I think I'm still pretty good with the George, Charles, Lando trio.
Yeah, my top 3 hasn't changed.
Checo has not been funny enough to get bumped up. He might have actually gone down, and I'm really sad about this. And I think it's just because Cadillac has less screen time.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's definitely Ollie 4th. He's pretty cemented at this point. And I honestly don't know. It gets a little messy. I found myself rooting for Alex a lot because I'm scared he's going to get kicked off the grid if he doesn't do well.
He did pretty well in the race.
He did. But yeah, so Alex has gotten significant rooting interest for me because I'm like, I want him to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Max. I find him funny. I like Oscar. I really like Ollie, so he's 4th for sure. I like Gabby.
I think my top 5 are all the same. Yeah.
I like Checo, but I don't think Checo's 5th anymore. But I don't know who would be 5th.
It moves around. It
This is
moves
crazy.
around. But anyways, we didn't even get past the start of this.
Sorry, I like Kimi. I just want to say I do like Kimi. However, I have the opposite rooting interest. So I don't need to get cursed for this because I genuinely like Kimi as a human being. However, I have vested rooting interest against him at the moment.
Yeah. But back to the start of the sprint. So Kimi gets in front of Kimi falls to George, but eventually Kimi gets 4th place back. Pierre gets in front of Franco. Both Red Bulls ironically fall 2 places. Exactly, because they also have a really terrible starting procedure. And then we get to Charles complains about Kimi's wheel-to-wheel racing. And I will say, Kimi was kind of all over the place.
I'm not willing to say anything directly bad about Kimi because Ella's powers terrify me.
She doesn't watch these and she's not here yet, so
they're a little meh. He's young, he's inexperienced.
Yeah. And that's basically what it is. And then the race kind of gets boring from there. Gabby eventually retires his car, so both of the Audis are gone. There was a lot of George versus Kimi with the yo-yoing. Lewis versus Max with Max going wide, which causes him to give back his position. Kimi this weekend was really struggling to stay on track.
That's like his one job, guys.
Like that, he got a black and white flag for track limits and eventually gets a 5-second penalty. So if anyone who's noticed that Alex Albon suddenly went into the pits and got a wing change, and I was confused at first because they didn't.
I don't think they ever showed where it came from.
But Alex posted on his story telling everyone what happened. They were actually just purposefully changing the wing to test out a qualifying style wing because they were so far behind in the race they weren't going to get points or anything. So they were like, might as well test this before quality.
Makes sense.
That's why he had gone into the pits. Isaac was chasing in an attempt to get that last point. He stayed in 9th, I think. Charles goes off on the second to last lap, losing his chances to overtake Oscar because Oscar and Charles were at it they were at it all weekend. But they were also at it at the sprint. So the podium was Lando, Oscar, Charles. Kimi got that 5-second penalty, which put him in 6th instead of 4th. He got behind Max and George. And then
you didn't see that.
I saw it.
I did a small happy dance because rooting interest.
Ella was pissed.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Utterly pissed when we found that out.
She was.
Then we get to their little getting the trophies, and I went, "Is that Artemis 2 Commander Reed Wiseman?" I was so excited that he was there. I was so excited.
Amy's space fandom is nerding out right now.
Yes, I've been watching all of their touring stuff. They're so funny, on the Jimmy Kimmel show and Jimmy Fallon. They've been so funny. And then he was actually in the Mercedes. He was a Mercedes VIP guest. And so there's a video of Toto just wide mouth, really interested as he's talking about the parachutes and landing back on Earth.
That's cool.
And then he gave Kimi a hug, I think.
Toto Wolff, I texted you this. He had an interview in the middle of the day on the stocks channel that my company always plays. So I turned to go stretch like this because I can only ever stretch now unless if I'm doing streamline or swimmer poses.
Oh yeah,
shoulders don't accept normal stretching because they're used to it. So I go to stretch and I look over and I just see Toto's face and I'm like, why is he here at my job? Why are you on TV? And he's talking about Formula One and the economy and the canceled races. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Back to my job.
I found out again, Silverstone offered to do 2 races and they turned it down and now I'm mad.
Silverstone's such a good track too.
Yeah, like Silverstone's done 2 races before, because back in 2020 for the 70th anniversary, and because so many track races got canceled, like they did 2 back then.
I don't know why they didn't replace the other 2.
Because they want
one of the Italian
Middle
tracks
Eastern
was
money
taken off. So why not add another Italian
track?
offered
to
Yeah. And then
the problem is they want that Middle Eastern money.
Yeah.
Nowhere else makes enough.
I'm just saying. But you're making 0 money if you're not rescheduling the race.
True. Well, they're hoping did you see they might have a 5-week end of the season every weekend? Yeah. Because they're potentially adding Saudi Arabia back into the calendar at the end, pushing back Abu Dhabi 1 week. And it's a 4-week or 5-week stretch of races. Which I feel bad for the drivers and everyone working. That sounds awful.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
That's rough on my weekend schedule too. Yeah. That doesn't impact Vegas at all, right? If they're moving stuff around?
No, it wouldn't push around Vegas. It would push around everything after.
Good, because I didn't pay the extra to cancel my tickets.
Yeah, no.
I'm going that weekend with or without you. So
yeah,
if I'm gonna end up gambling and at weird shows.
No, it wouldn't affect that. It's everything after that. So instead of there being a break in between Las Vegas and Qatar, there would be a race in between, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember fully how it works.
I'll sue F1 if they make me for my plane ticket costs. They might give me money to make me go away.
Back to qualifying. Max was really showing up this weekend, I would say. He's really good in Miami. That's always been known. He won the first 2 races and the sprints.
I'm convinced he does well because his girlfriend shows up to those races.
True. Supposedly there was rumors that Lily was there too, because he said that he wouldn't allow her to go to a race until she was 1 and could a little bit more realize what was going on. We did see his nephews, the twins, which look exactly like him in my opinion.
The Verstappen gene is strong.
Yeah. But during Q1, there was a large headwind at one of the turns, kind of making all of the drivers struggle a little bit because they had to brake weirdly, blah, blah, blah. Gabby finally gets the car to eventually go out, but then immediately the brakes catch on fire. So both Nico's and Gabby's brakes caught on fire this weekend.
This is why you can't choose Audi for your secondary car. They just keep catching on fire.
Yeah, Audi is just not doing well at all. At all.
Yeah, they're not giving their drivers permanent nerve damage. So as far as I'm concerned,
Oscar did not improve on his second fast lap and almost got knocked out. He was in 16th.
That's
with this will eventually also be my favorite radio because I don't think there was any other ones, but his team was we're safely out, and Oscar went, safely is an ambitious word in that situation, I think, knowing that he was almost knocked out. But who was actually knocked out was Lindblad, Alonso, Stroll, Bottas, Perez, Bortoleto. Lindblad
finishing below the Cadillacs and the Astons.
But also it makes sense because he had to retire from the sprint. He didn't even start the sprint. So clearly something's wrong with the car. Okay.
I'm shaming him.
Q2, the only thing that really happens was Lando was having some car issues, so he got his first lap 7 minutes left. But Albon, Ocon, Sainz, Behrman, Lawson, Hulkenberg were knocked out of Q2. And then Q3, the McLarens were really struggling compared to the sprint qualifying. And supposedly they had set up the car for a rain race. And that's why I don't know.
It wasn't raining.
Well, you can't. You have to. The setup you want for the race.
I know. I know.
Setup.
I'm being dramatic.
And then it never rained. Kimi takes pole on his first lap. And then when we go out for those final fast laps, Kimi had to back out of his fast lap. So he's stuck with that first one.
Most people didn't even improve that lap, unless your name is Max Verstappen. Yeah. So I don't even care.
No one improved except Max. So it didn't really even matter. So it was Gasly, Hajar, Colapinto, Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Antonelli. So we finally get Max on the first row. And then we're back to Mercedes being on pole. Which I predicted it, but I will say, just because most people, if you've watched a lot of our stuff, know I'm a very stats orientated person. And I knew that only one person before has ever won for pole in Miami, and it was during a sprint race back in 2023, which is crazy to say because now both the sprint race and the real race were won from pole.
I always thought that stat was low-key BS because you have such little data points.
Well, I think the thing is that Miami is such a critical strategy race, as we can see we'll see in the race. It is a critical strategy, and also most of the time it rains because that's Miami for you. They're
Florida,
a rainforest and all of that. So
swamp. It is swamp.
Yeah.
Get to swamp.
But moving on to the race, Isaac has to start in the pit lane. They changed his car around, so he's back in the pits. My favorite thing. So I watch a lot of the pre-race stuff too, just usually as background noise. And so Patrick Dempsey, do you know who he is?
I've heard the name, but I can't place it.
Enchanted, the movie.
Yes, I do know who that is. Enchanted. He's the love interest who's why is this girl trying to break into this castle? Yes. Why is she doing to my curtains? Why are there a billion cockroaches? He's also in Grey's Anatomy, but I've never watched that.
He's McDreamy. But he's one of the only 2 or 3 actors who's ever raced in an F1 car, ridden and drove one. Because I can't remember what he drove one for, but he's driven one before. And he's been to so many races because he's an actual fan. And so they interviewed him beforehand. And I thought this was the funniest shit ever. Because I was like, oh, he's definitely not a Mercedes fan. Because they were like, oh, how was the sprint? And he was like, it was good to see other cars except for the Mercedes win yesterday.
The thing is the winner was McLaren, who were dominant last year. So it wasn't that great.
Well, he's a Red Bull fan, so he's used to dominance. So I don't know how much I don't know where his alignment is, but it's definitely not Mercedes. I don't know how he feels about McLaren or what, Mercedes. But it's definitely not Mercedes.
I went to a work meeting. Was it online? Yes, in my Mercedes jacket that you can't see. So you know what?
Okay.
Mic drop. I don't have a mic. That was a pen.
But anyways, we get to the start, and Charles immediately charges his way up to first. Oscar gets all the way up to Lando from 7th, which puts him in 4th. He never gets past Lando. Max and Kimi lock up on the first turn. Kimi has to go wide. That also caused Max to lose his grip and do a little pirouette.
It was a lovely pirouette. 10 out of 10 on execution. No getting hit as well. Bravo.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, I kind of just gunned it.
He apologized. He saved the car in the middle of that cluster F.
And went, shit, sorry, guys.
Bruh, do you even know what you just did? That's crazy impressive. They're thrilled they don't have to re-put together the car.
And then in an interview later, he was like, yeah, I kind of just gunned it hoping for the best. And it worked out. So maybe I have a future in drag racing.
Oh, gosh.
But he ends up back in 9th because of that.
I went to not a drag, but drift event, not drag racing. Yeah.
So after like the first couple turns, it's Charles, Kimmy, Lando, Oscar, George, Lewis, Colapinto, and then Carlos. Because for some reason the Williams also just charged up the field.
Go Carlos! Alex also made up a lot of places on the start. I don't know if you noticed it. He was just further back, but
yeah,
both Williams actually made up a ton of room.
We already talked about that, so I like added questions to remind me to ask things, and it was like does Mercedes need to fix their starting procedure? And we both talked about that already, which is a yes. There was a Lewis versus Colapinto contact. Nothing much came from it. It was a racing.
That wasn't major.
Yeah. Hulkenberg goes into the pits and you can see his wing getting changed. We don't know why at all.
He probably got bonked.
Yeah. Max was slowly making his way back up the pack like usual. Like, that's very Max things to do.
Well, he went into the pits very quickly to get on the hard.
Way too early.
That's lap 8.
We're on lap 2.
He didn't even like charge that much up.
He did. He went from 9th all the way back to like 6th. That's still charging. Anyway,
you're right. Whatever.
You're way. I didn't even get into why we had a safety car for him to go into the pits. Jesus.
No, I show up and I yap with you.
George gets around Oscar on the straight, and Oscar actually doesn't come back from this. There was no yo-yoing. Kimmy takes the lead, but then Charles takes it back the next lap, which gets into the yo-yoing. Lando was told to be patient and let them fight it out in front, which also goes into my next topic of conversation. Do you like the yo-yoing of the new regulations, or do you want it to go back to the old ways of passing each other?
I like the yo-yoing. I think it's fun.
I don't like them.
I think it adds more stakes.
No, it doesn't add any stakes because you know if you're going to pass them, then you're not going to have any charge and they're just going to pass you.
Yeah, but then it's like more head-to-head at once instead of just like, oh, I did one thing and now I'm passed. I don't know, more action to like watch. Because sometimes the races have like nothing going on and you're like,
I guess
with that meme with the guy with the stick being like, do something. At least something's being done.
Also, every other race, in my opinion, has been boring. This is the only one I've liked this season.
I thought Australia was fun.
No.
You just didn't like it because Oscar wasn't there.
No, I also just thought it was boring. Like, it was the yo-yoing. All of a sudden, you would get a car that goes past and it'd be like, oh, that's cool. But then the next person would go. And then the next lap, they do it again. And it just gets redundant.
I don't mind it.
But, and that goes into what I say about it. It's better, I will say. They were able to get past and not yo-yo as much. But I do agree with Oscar that when he said it in the cool down room that like defense is really difficult for them. And you can see that in people like Charles, Max, Oscar, who are the very defensive drivers and very good at defense versus like a Lando who's offense, like all of that they're not able to keep cars behind them because of the yo-yoing effect.
I also think, though, that comes with practice. I don't think they know how to handle the cars necessarily yet because it's 4 races in. Again, I don't mind it because it's more action. And I do think getting past and trying to maintain your position and catching back off the rear or like trying to strategically position yourself to be behind in the overtake areas is a form of defense in and of itself. So it does not bother. I think just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad.
Yes.
And we get to see more interesting moves. I think it actually allows for more strategy because you have to handle how to actually pass them officially, or else you'll get stuck in that yo-yo.
I guess there's that to it. I don't know. It's just it feels like too much. To me,
it does not bother me in the slightest because I'm at least watching more wheel-to-wheel action, and I think at the end of the day, that's what you want in a car race.
I think there's also that little tidbit for me that because of it causes so many gaps in the racing. You see the same two people attacking each other the entire time.
I don't
'Cause they just
necessarily
keep
agree
going
with
back
that
and
either,
forth.
because if it's the same two people attacking each other, they're spending so much time attacking each other that other cars have times to catch up, which
But
is how
those
we saw
other cars
people.
behind them are also attacking each other doing the same thing. So it's these groups of
We
2.
saw people
We
get
saw
being
groups of
able to catch
2.
up. I don't really care. I find it entertaining. We saw people like Oscar being able to catch up. Lando was able to catch up to Charles and Kimmy.
But I think that's only because they changed the regulations. Because of the new
Sure, but that's
style of
why you change
regulations.
regulations to make the racing better.
Yes, I will say the yo-yoing was better this weekend than it was before, but do I still like it? No.
We can disagree on this. I'm not changing my mind.
But anyways, now we're finally at lap 4.
Woohoo! We made it,
Um,
guys.
so Isaac clips the wall.
55 laps to go.
It gets boring after like lap, I think like 13.
Well, there's like
So
a boring middle, and then it
and
gets
then
really
it gets
interesting
exciting
again.
again. Yeah. But so Isaac clips the wall, which causes him to crash into another one on turns 14 and 15. Man was clearly upset.
Did he
And
hit
I
the
get it.
wall, or was it the hit of the curb that
No,
caused him to go up?
his back tire hit the wall in that.
Okay. 'Cause to me, it looked like he bounced off the curb and just into the wall, but
No, he hit the
yeah.
wall. But yeah, he was clearly upset, which is understandable. He's in the Red Bull second seat, and you need to be doing everything you can to be doing well. So
I was half convinced my dad was gonna go, "I can't stand that kid," after he kept hitting his thing, because he's
yeah.
like, he needs to calm down.
Mhm.
Like, that was my dad's first reaction. I went, "If my dad hates Jamie's second favorite driver as much as," like, that'd be a
Yeah.
little funny. He
Yeah.
didn't say anything about Isaac yet, but I wouldn't expect that maybe at some point in the future.
And then further up in the race, this happens like at the same exact time
Yeah.
because of where everyone's at. Liam locks up and gets under Pierre's car, flipping him to make him stuck on the barrier.
Yeah, that was, like, not as scary of a flip, though, as it could have been.
True. I do agree with that, but it's still, I was like, are these cars just like air? He flipped
The thing is, like,
easily.
we've seen that though with last year's cars as well, where like when Yuki flipped, he just kind of kept rolling. Or like Gabby had a really aggressive one where he like went off and just was like, I think that might have been at Brazil. So I think the cars just, you're going so fast, like, and then they are lighter cars for speed. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable, but it is a bit shocking to see like a light tap. I guess
yeah, that's the thing.
On camera, like, you don't get to see as fast as it actually is. So I imagine that's like,
but also they were in the braking zone, and I felt like Liam wasn't going that fast, and he also like barely touched him, and Pierre just fully went floop.
No, my dad officially hates Liam based on that, though.
That's so funny.
My dad doesn't even like Pierre, but he's like, Liam again? Like, what a dick.
But Max pits early on the safety car as in a risky strategy, which
I think it was smart.
Didn't. I don't know.
I think it paid off. Because
he was in second and he ended up 5th.
But he lost so many positions off that start.
He only lost down to 6th. So he pretty much
and that got him up to 5th. I think it worked out. I don't think it was a bad move. I think they should have gone in for the 2-stop. That's my take on the whole thing. Because I think that gave him enough fresh rubber to like make pretty decent progress. And then he did have enough time in that gap to have gone in again and get another thing of fresh like potential mediums.
Yeah.
Or even softs if you wanted to go at the end and chase the group down. Like, I do think it wasn't a bad choice, but I maybe would have made it a 2-stop.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really helped Max.
I don't know if it helped Max, but I think it gave him more options.
Yeah, it was a risky strategy. It didn't,
especially if it was supposed to rain, which like it was off and on. I think being able to stay out, because I think if it started to rain, a lot of cars would have gone in either for new slicks or if it were a lot of water
that was the
intermediates.
risky thing about it.
Yeah, so I think that was like kind of, because for a lot of the race, they're like, we're expecting potential heavy rain. If that gets flagged and you don't have to go out or you don't have to go back in, you're suddenly in first. And then if the whole race is red flagged, free pit stop there.
Yeah.
You already did all the hard work. So like I don't see like risky, sure, but I think it's part of racing. You take educated risks.
Yeah. But so Isaac, Liam, and Pierre are obviously out. Hulkenberg is also out due to mechanical issues. Yay.
Yay.
And so safety car ends on lap 12. Charles gets a good restart. George loses his spot to Oscar, which is really weird. Apparently he was on the wrong mode or something, but from my perspective,
George had that problem I think later on too.
Yeah. From my perspective, I don't know how Oscar got around George, because all of a sudden, like, they start getting up to racing pace. George is probably a good second or two ahead of Oscar, but Oscar was able to catch him on the straight and get around him, which
well,
I
again,
had
George
no
was
clue
having
how it
car
happened.
troubles,
Yeah.
and he was like, we've been in the wrong mode at like some point during like one of his radios. So I think it might have been like a miscommunication error on behalf of Mercedes.
Lando eventually takes the lead from Charles. Charles and Kimi start yo-yoing with each other. Max is charging up the field from 17th after pitting. He's like up to 9th by this point of when I wrote this. Oscar and Charles start yo-yoing. And then we get the start of the pit stop strategies. George pits first to undercut both Charles and Oscar. It actually pays out.
For getting past Charles. I think technically
and
Oscar as well, but I think Oscar kind of successfully did the overcut because his tires were so much more fresh later on.
Yeah. Leclerc,
but it definitely benefited him against Charles.
Yeah. Charles goes in to hold off George, and it's a slow stop, and he's behind. Charles doesn't understand why they stopped and they didn't. Charles was pissed.
Charles is always pissed.
So mad.
Charles hates it there, but is like stuck in a toxic relationship.
He was like, "You guys need to tell me next time. I'm here too." I was like, "Whoa, whoa."
He's like, "I'm racing, guys, please."
Yeah. And so,
but I do think there is more benefit in discussing with the drivers when to go in. So
yeah. Kimi pits to undercut Lando, then immediately Lando pits, but he gets behind Kimi. So the Mercedes really worked.
That was a beautiful undercut.
Yes. The Mercedes did very well with their undercuts. Then quickly Lewis Hamilton, and why did I write down his full name?
Because he's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. And then Oscar gets into the pits. Oscar is behind George and Charles. So now it's like Kimi, Max, or Lando, Max in the top 3. Eventually Charles gets in front of George, taking back his original place. Oscar moves past George, yo-yo a couple times, and finally is able to chase after Charles. So George is now in the back of the pack. Of that pack, those 3. He was like 5th.
I wasn't happy about that.
He was 6th. And
actually,
he was technically 7th. No, he was technically 7th because Franco held out on those tires for like 32 laps.
Low key, I think he could have gone the whole way on those tires and went in because he had to. Man was nursing them.
Yeah, that was crazy. And honestly, it benefited him in the end. Like, this was his best race result ever. So
very proud of him.
Especially with the Charles penalty, but that's a later problem. Charles passes Max. So this is we're in the last 20 or less laps. I think we're on lap 15 at this point. Charles passes Max for 3rd because Max's tires are now not working out very well because they're so old and probably torn to shreds.
I think that was the downside because he had to work through so much traffic.
Yeah.
It probably ate him up, but whatever.
And then Oscar gets through Max also. We actually get a Max versus George at the same time as Oscar versus Charles. Oscar passes Charles. This is on the second to last lap. This is where it gets exciting. Was Oscar charging up to get Charles? And I was sitting there, I was like, go Oscar, go Oscar. And I'm watching baseball, and I'm like right there next to the dugout, and I'm like, go Oscar, go Oscar, go Oscar.
I don't care about you guys. Oscar Piastri, go get
Charles. And so Oscar passes Charles right before the start finish straight, and George does the same thing on the same exact lap with Max. So they both got around.
When I tell you, I was so happy George passed.
And then Charles was unable to catch up to Oscar, and he eventually lost his grip, spins out, slightly hits the wall, and gets damage. And
oh my god,
falls.
The house was great. Well, it was me and my dad. The house was crazy because my dad obviously roots for Ferrari, so he's like, go Charles, and I'm there like, come on George, catch him, we're cutting into the lead, let's go. And then he passes him, and my dad like gave a dramatic like despair.
No, so Ella's sitting next to me, and she's watching on her iPad. She doesn't have, or she has one earbud in because we both only had one earbud in. I fully didn't care, had my MacBook out. She had her iPad hidden under her blanket just so Nick's parents didn't see that she wasn't paying attention to baseball.
Nice.
And so she would peek under every once in a while just after hearing what's going on. And we both just go as Charles spun.
It was crazy. What's so funny is, so Malik, before I didn't watch live because one of my friends, Allison, it was like her birthday weekend, so I went out and I celebrated with her. And so Malik was texting me, as was Jamie, but Jamie was not as much as she normally does during the race. No, I know. But he texted me, Charles is single-handedly keeping my fantasy team alive. And then at the end goes, well, you're going to be happy with that ending. And I went, what happened? And he went, you just got to watch for yourself. Go watch the highlights. And I'm like, nah, I'm watching the whole race. But yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think he was thrilled.
So both George and Max passed Charles by the end of the race.
Max gets him at the last possible second too.
So the podiums, Kimi, Lando, Oscar. Max afterwards gets a 5-second penalty. That doesn't really do much.
Why did Max get a penalty? Speeding in the pit lane?
No, it was something with a white line when he came out of the pits.
So it was pits for sure.
Yeah, he should have let whoever the other driver was go in front of him.
Gotcha.
And then Charles was a 20-second penalty.
Why was he technically penalized? Was it just unsafe?
It wasn't unsafe. It was going off tracks too many times unnecessarily.
Okay, it was a little necessary though. His car stopped working.
No. Oh no, it wasn't that. It wasn't the spin out. No. This was the entire race. I watched the entire video that Formula 1 made up, and he's cutting all the corners. And I'm just like, Charles, what are you doing? He is cutting every corner. It doesn't even look like anyone's around him, and he's cutting corners.
He's like, no one's around me. This is the perfect time to cheat.
Like,
I respect it, honestly.
That's
good
why it was a 20-second, because it would have been a drive-through if it happened during the race.
Okay. Yeah. I was just happy George got up to 4th at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, good. We've mitigated the damage.
Yeah. But yeah, that still puts George 20 points behind Kimi, which I think the largest gap between Oscar and Lando last year was 25.
I think Oscar at one point had a full race win, right?
Yeah, it was a full race win ahead of Lando. So I think it was 25 at one point.
I don't know. I'm feeling good about George for Canada because he's really good at Montreal.
That would be a good prediction, is George for Canada. Yes.
I agree.
I'm
blindly just putting him in first because he has the best car at this point. So even though Kimi's been winning, like my prediction has consistently been George. But I legit think Canada. I actually wasn't that confident for Miami. I actually feel pretty good about Canada.
I honestly love the McLarens to death, and I know they're doing well. I don't think either of them will get on the podium because Canada seems to be their struggle.
I don't think so. I think it'll be back to either Charles or Max.
Yeah. But my favorite radio, I kind of already said it, was Oscar being like, I that safely saying that. I don't know. Otherwise, there wasn't really too many radios.
I think I had a favorite radio this weekend. Yeah. I kind of just like them all, like getting us hyped for rain, and then us not getting rain.
Yeah, that was boring.
That's like what
I kind of wanted rain. I didn't want thunder.
I love a good rain race.
Yeah,
Jamie knows it. Rain. I just wanted rain.
For driver of the day, in my opinion, like in my personal opinion, I don't think it should have been Max.
I also agree with you. I wouldn't have voted for Max.
I understand people's argument of him like holding on to those hard tires for 51 laps. But also he was in 6th before, like,
I think I would have given it to Franco.
Franco's a good one. I said Oscar. I was gonna say Oscar because 7th to 3rd, like that last overtake on Charles.
Jamie probably just witnessed the most massive eye roll. I would have gone Franco or one of the Williams. Probably Carlos over Alex.
I was gonna argue my other one was Kimi, but okay.
First to first.
He didn't do first to first. It's so much.
He started on pole. That's first.
So much happened in between that it wasn't a proper first to first.
I think for me it would be Franco, because I was actually very impressed with him this entire weekend. So I think he should have gotten it. I don't really see much argument for anyone else, honestly.
I said to Ella, I was like, it should go Kimi, Oscar, or one of the Williams, because it was double points for the Williams this weekend, which is
I would have gone for one of the Williams, because I was actually very impressed by Williams this weekend. So I would have gone Franco or one of the Williams. And just because Carlos finished over Alex, I would have probably given it to Carlos, even though I prefer Alex.
But he qualified higher than...
That is true. But it was only by like one spot, right?
Yeah. No, it was still like... Well, someone was in between them.
Then Alex went up more places. Give it to Alex.
Yeah. But... I guess my argument with Kimi is there was so much going on in between. No, like he's the first person to win this race from pole, and there was so much going on in between that it's actually shocking that he won from pole. Oscar is just because he went from 7th to 3rd, and he had a lot in between. He was back down to 7th at one point. He charges past George and Charles and Max, and like ends up getting 3rd on the second to last lap. He had a lot of stuff going on.
Listen, he did do a lot, Jamie. But whenever you say Oscar's name at this point, I know you're biased. So even if you're making great points,
this isn't even a biased opinion, and it's a proper one. It's a proper one.
I'm being honest. George doesn't deserve driver of the day.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
I don't even like Franco that much. Sorry, Franco fans, but I do think Franco deserves driver of the day.
If Oscar didn't get that last overtake on Charles, he wouldn't be considered into my like driver of the day. It was just solely that last overtake on Charles that really did him over for me.
We can disagree. It's okay. That's what podcasts are for.
Yeah, but it's the fact that you're arguing with me instead of being nice about it.
Jamie, you can have whatever opinions your heart desires.
Yeah.
I just think Franco should be driver of the day, and that's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Better.
Instead of judging my thoughts.
I'm not judging them. It's just, I actually hear what you're saying, and I think you have a pretty valid argument, but it's so hard for me to like actively listen when it's like, oh, it's Oscar. Of course she's going to be being like, Oscar's great.
I
can't separate the two, and I'm sorry about it.
Anyway,
like with George, you're not going to listen to those arguments as much because you know I'm
okay, if George genuinely does good like Oscar did, I would agree with you.
Okay, then I will take that constructive criticism into next race, okay? Fair?
Yeah. So if George does really well in Canada, I'll agree with you.
Okay. I also do like giving like midfield cars more recognition.
You do tend to do that.
So I don't, because I feel like we always see the same people winning driver of the day, and it's always like, even if it's like
Lando,
Ferrari, it's always like it's Charles.
Lando, Kimi, Max, Charles. That's really it.
Yeah, like it's always one of those four, and it's because they're popular. So for me, it's like, I want to give it to someone else and make them feel special. Like last year, I think it was like Lewis and Hulkenberg who like weren't like from like always top four, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
On to fantasy and predictions.
I gotta pull my predictions up because they are
I'll start
catastrophic.
You actually got third, so I don't know what you're talking about.
If you look at the amount I actually got right, they're bad.
Yeah, that is true. But so starting with fantasy, I won this weekend. I used my no negatives because I thought it was gonna rain and I got worried. It did help me. I should have some negatives on some people, but that's okay. Olivia was in second, and I don't know why she was saying she did super bad.
Wait, in fantasy, I ended up getting second. I was in third last time I checked. Hold up.
The changes.
Oh, let's go. I don't deserve this. Wait, I'm trying to pull it up. I can't find the leaks. There we go.
Your downfall was having 2 times on Pierre and getting negative 30.
Oh my god, I'm so mad about that.
Truly, your downfall was that.
Oh, he gave me negative 30 too. I didn't even want Pierre on my team. I was like, I need another like decent driver, and I regret it.
I might take off Gabby because I really don't trust the Audis.
That's the thing. I kind of want to keep Arvid.
Arvid's a good one.
I'm keeping Arvid, and I'm keeping Ollie, and I'm keeping George. So it's really Pierre and Gabby.
Kai with the biggest shock of being in third. Yeah. Sorry, Kai. You just haven't had the greatest luck. You did get negative 29 and negative 50 because you had Nico and Audi, but Kimmy and Max was your saviors.
Malik did end up staying in positive points. Good for him.
It still says these are all provisional points.
Oh, really?
They still have yet to change.
Okay, well, we're still going to talk about him.
Yeah. So Ella was in fourth. She had a bad Malik, one with Isaac. She had Isaac in her team. That didn't help.
Then there's so bad.
Then there's poor Malik, who has negative 15, negative 8, negative 25, and negative 25 because
so he has Pierre, Arvid, and Isaac, all of whom did not finish.
Yeah.
And Racing Bulls, who did not finish.
Yeah. So overall, I have taken
10 total points.
Yeah. Which isn't the worst we've seen. I was in the negatives for Silverstone last year. So
it was kind of hilarious.
Isn't the worst.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
But overall, I have now taken the lead from Ella. I am winning our fantasy league with 890 points, which isn't that much.
No.
Ella's
You're doing
in second,
good though.
Ella's in second with 854. Olivia's in third with 814. Kaya's in fourth with 640. And Malik is in fifth with 413. He's really trying to come back, but this was a bad weekend.
He was so confident in his new team when he put it together too. And then I feel a little bad for him, but that's okay.
And then potentially next time we might have another friend joining the league.
You've heard her voice at this point. We want Kylie to join.
Yes, we really want Kylie to join. This was my worst week, or no, this was my second worst weekend in terms of predictions. I only had an accuracy of 40%, which I know is above the average, but it's still a bad weekend for me. So we'll go through both of ours. So do you have yours up?
I don't even want to admit how bad my predictions were.
So my podium was George, Kimmy, Oscar.
In the top 4% of players this round.
Yeah. My podium was George, Kimmy, Oscar. So having Oscar in the complete correct spot got me 28 points. And then Kimmy just being somewhere on the podium also helped me.
So for my podium, I always throw a ×2 chip on this because I think it just makes sense too. Because you can get the most points out of it and there's no negative. So I had George and then I did Kimmy Lando because Lando likes Miami. So I was like, Lando's going to do well. And so because Lando and Kimmy were scoring, it did me well.
I said Lando would get on the podium for the sprint.
I don't know why I put him as 4th through 10th because I feel like I should have put him on the podium, but I have him as 4th through 10th. Which doesn't make sense to me because I felt great about Lando this weekend.
Even though I know Pierre has been doing better than Ollie, I thought Ollie would finish higher on.
I did the same thing.
I did say Kimmy would take pole, and that's where my 2 times chip is, so I got 20 points for that.
I put George because I'm biased.
I think I had the good idea. I was like, Kimmy was on pole for sprint last year, then he got third. He's gonna get pole this year with the fast.
You know what's crazy though is that I have been consistently putting George as winner and Kimmy as pole, and I didn't do it this week. Whatever, it's fine.
I did not think both Williams would get out of Q1.
Me either.
I thought George would set the fastest lap, but it was Lando.
I had Kimmy because I've been putting Kimmy as fastest lap.
I took a gamble on this one, and I put McLaren as the fastest pit stop.
Oh gosh, I had Ferrari, and they let me down this week.
Yeah, it was Racing Bulls. I said there was going to be a safety car in the first 10 laps because I thought it was going to rain. Not that I
also put the safety car down, but I always put the safety car down.
I was so close for this one, but I thought it was going to rain, and so I did 17 classified finishers.
I did 16.
Yeah, we thought it was going to rain.
I thought it was going to rain. That is literally the only logic, because I think I probably would have done 17 or 18. Yeah. I probably would have done 17 like you did.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to hit 18, and that's okay.
And then I thought Kimmy was going to stay in the lead for the Drivers' Championship, which Ella actually put George for that one.
Shocking. She had more faith in George than I did. I'm like, even if George wins, if Kimmy's in second, he's still in the lead.
So for this weekend, I got first with 91 points. Ella and Olivia tied for second with 66. Kai got 46, which technically Kai got more correct than you, but you got more points. So
I don't deserve this, but thank you, everybody.
And then overall, I am still in first with quite a bit of a lead.
Is really good at predictions, and it's scary.
I have 380 points with 45% accuracy. Olivia's in second with 325 and 28%.
I get points.
I know where to put my times chip. You get points. You're not accurate, but you get points.
Ella has put that times 2 chip.
Ella has moved up from last and now is in third with 230 and 25% correct. So she is actually the worst at.
I'm more accurate than someone.
Yeah, and then Kai is now in last with 224 points and 28%, and that is.
What I'm hearing is you're just way more accurate than all of us,
which helps me in the points department too. Yeah.
Whatever.
I have mostly actually put my 2 times on my pole positions, and that has really helped me because I've been really solid with my pole predictions because I've been in the top 1%, I've been in the top 0%. That was last China. I don't know how I did that. I got 70% correct, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But and then Japan, that was Japan. China was my bad one. China, I did terrible. But that's whatever. So that's it for the podcast. Any ending thoughts, Olivia?
No.
Oh, I forgot to mention Oscar got stuck in the confetti, and it was the most hilarious thing in the world.
That was funny. I also liked Kimmy not noticing that he couldn't drink the champagne and showing it to everybody.
He shows them it. They both laugh. Oscar realizes he's stuck in the confetti, tries to get out of the confetti. Then they start laughing at Oscar. It was a great podium.
So I'm trying to get into horse racing. So if anyone knows horse racing races I can watch, please leave a comment. I did a thing, and I need help because I feel like I've now attracted an audience we shouldn't have. And I need to give the people what they want.
I'm actually thinking, this is weird, I might try to get into soccer or tennis.
Tennis, sure. Soccer, we're never becoming a soccer podcast.
But it's just like, we have Apple TV, and soccer, like the United States Soccer League is free on Apple TV.
You're gonna have to find someone else to talk about soccer with. I'm not even gonna do the playoffs. Like I am the furthest away from caring that you could possibly. Like I do not care. I refuse to talk about it. I don't understand the hype. I think it's so boring.
Yeah.
I'm not doing soccer. I can at least fake tennis and be like, Williams.
Well, did you know that there is a whole statistic that I think his first name is Jannik Sinner. He is an Italian tennis player, and he's like number 1 right now. I think he overtook Carlos Alcaraz.
You think I know a thing about tennis? I don't know any of these names.
Anyways, Jannik Sinner, who's from Italy, and Kimi, who is also from Italy. Every time Jannik wins a tennis match, Kimi has won a race this year.
He needs to stop winning tennis matches. Anyway, horse racing. If you know a horse race other than the Kentucky Derby, please hit us up because
let Olivia know.
I need to know.
Yeah. But that is all of our talking of the Miami GP. You will not be seeing us talk about races for another 3 weeks again. Yay. So I hope you guys like this. Please comment any of your thoughts, any of your ideas. Respond to anything me and Olivia argued about with your own opinions. And we will see you guys in the next one. Please go watch all of our other content and like and subscribe to all of that. We have F1 for Dummies if you're new to F1. We also react to sports TV shows. Right now we only have Heated Rivalry, which is done as in 1 week after this is posted. The last episode will be posted.
It is recorded, but it gets pushed back for races.
Yes. We I also have Oscar Dorkostry, which is 3 minutes clips of Oscar doing weird things. Which I planned on doing the first Monday of the month, but I'm gonna move it to the second Monday of the month just because I don't have it done today. And and that's it. Wait. Oh, we also have games now. We started playing games with our friends.
OJ
Go watch us. Yes. Go watch us.
It's on the same channel, but
yes. OJ Games. And so we also have that. And then we have our short form content on TikTok and Instagram. So go follow us and like all of that there. That's where you're going to get most of our content from because that is more of a daily content than this. And then
I posted 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is a shock. Olivia really, and she has the most viewed video in the past week too. Okay.
Woo!
I see how it is. I still have the most viewed video overall, so try me.
I'm aware, but I did not expect that to do well.
No, I didn't.
I expected it to maybe get 1,000 views, but I'm like, at least I'll have posted.
Yeah.
200K plus views later. I'm like, huh? And it's still going. It was at like 230 last night. I haven't opened TikTok yet.
But yeah. That was the funniest thing. And then
anyway, go Golden Tempo.
Olivia.
And sorry, Great White.
Olivia also comments her thoughts on Survivor on our Twitter, so go over there. Oh, she is a busy woman and misses a lot. So honestly, I'm surprised you didn't like do anything with like the Celtics or anything like that.
I was really mad. And
I know.
I was more verbalizing my thoughts to my father.
Yeah, I figured. I was like, ooh. Yeah. I was like, don't talk to Olivia tonight.
We had to lose to Philly. At least losing the second round. I had us going all the way and winning the championship, which a lot of people did. We were the favorites basically to come out of the East. And we lost to Philly. We had a 3-1 lead.
Yeah. I have a perfect NHL bracket, guys.
I'm really happy for you.
Yay! Okay,
the Bruins did take longer to beat than I had thought they would. Yeah, so I'm very proud of them.
Yeah.
But Carolina.
Anyways, guys, that's the end of this episode. We got back into yapping. I hope you guys like it, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!
Bye. Let's hope Philly loses.